Welcome to the second portion of the tutorials related to animating textures. I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible because you should already know how to set up the control scripts to animate textures within Animator. What this tutorial is going to go over is how to swap between two sets of textures using just one sprite object within the scene editor. So basically, this is a random character that I had made a while ago, and there are two sequences, animation sequences. It is the run and the jump. So it's going to be basically a run or walk animation and a jump animation. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up in Animator, and I'll talk about what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So here we go. We have a new Animator instance open, and I am going to create the flat 2D plane, and let's see, 512 by 512, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. You've seen this done before if you've seen the last tutorial. And material, let's call him, his name is Mouth, so I use that as the label. Okay, so our object is created. I'm not going to do anything fancy with the organization. Um, so now we go ahead and add the object here. Okay. Let's just go ahead and do the same old. Oh. I am positioning the camera. I kind of forgot. Switched the location and rotation. Okay, and then location can be 250, no, 25. Okay. All right, so that is your basic setup, and now I am going to go ahead and set it up even more. So just name a mouth, and then we're going to go ahead and add the anim controller float type, and then we'll go ahead and add the sprite scripts, target, and then we add again another target. Call this mouth script, and also parent it back to sprite scripts. Okay, so that's set, and now I can work on the controller. So make another copy of this, paste it there, save as mouth.aas for syntax highlighting, and now I can go ahead and begin the configuration. Now I'm going to be doing swapping, so it's going to be a little different than before. Text name is going to be the same as before. It's going to be mouth, which is what I set in the material texture. Um, then we have the element name was mouth, and anim controller was the controller name. And I'm going to use multiplier. And now this is where things get a little different. Controller swap float. I need to make a another controller for mouth, and make a new one and call it anything you want, but I always call it swap controller. And then it's float and press OK. So this swap controller is going to control swapping these sprites. There we go. So now it's going to be mouth scene element with swap controller controller. And text prefix, that is going to be your texture file. And basically when you do controller swap, then for each set of textures you want to add another .push action. This basically pushes a new item in the array. So there we go. And this will be referenced through the controller script and animated with the swap controller. So here we go. I added a push action because one of these is going to represent the running animation and the other is going to represent the jumping animation. So now I'm going to put in 1, since that is 1 underscore is the prefix for the running animation, and jump underscore is the prefix for the jumping one. The number of digits, there are 5 digits, so 5 is correct. And they are PNG file types, and they will be under the mouth directory. And now I am going to see what the beginning frame 1 to 12 and 24 to 35. So 1 to 12 and 24 to 35. Okay. 1 through 12 is for the jump, 24 to 35 is for the running. So that should be all of the configuration in order to be able to swap between 2 texture types of running and jumping, and also allows me to animate this. So now I can go into the mouth script and paste it all in there. I'll save it just in case. And again, I need the world controller on off switch. So sprites enabled, make it a Boolean, and go ahead and add the key to 1. So mouth sprite script. So that should be about it. And now I can animate between from the beginning to, let's say, we'll do 1 walk cycle per second. So let's go ahead and extend the scene to about 180 again, 6 seconds. So let's walk for 2 seconds and then jump for about another second and then walk some more. Or you know what, we can just do 2.5. Now let's just do 2. Keep it simple. So add key, we want 2 walk cycles, 1 walk cycle per second, and then a jump animation. It's going to actually be about less than a second for this jump. So Now this jump cycle is pretty, it you have to understand what it's doing. Basically, it's showing the jump and then the land. So now we want to just go through the entire animation. So we want to go from 2 to 3 because this is 2 right here. So we want another cycle. So it's going to 3. And now we want an additional set of cycles for walking. There's 1, 2, 3, basically 3 seconds. So from 3 plus 3 is 6, so let's do about 6.3. Okay, I did 6.3 because there was already 1, 2, 2 cycles there, and so it's going from 3, from the value 3, and I need 3 actual cycles, so I do 3 plus 3 equals 6, and then I added 0.3 for this little bit right here. Okay, so that is for the animation controller, and now for the swap controller, I want to use the first index, so I use a value of 0, and then right here is when it's going to swap. So I want to swap right here to 1. But I'm going to go ahead and set 0 right here. So it's going to go from 0 to 0, and then it's going to flip to 1, and then it's going to go back to 0 right here. Okay. So if you look at it here, then you can see that it kind of jumps, it stacks, so to speak. Once I fix this into a more linear action. It doesn't have to be exact unless you have thousands of swap events happening, but you likely won't have more than 5 to 10 at most. So this curve, it's going to round up or down. So if there's some curve, it's not going to be inaccurate. It's going to still pick the closest value to the integer equivalent. All right, so there we go. This is also the anim controller. You can see it fluctuates. Yeah, it's a bit ugly. So we'll just keep it like this for now since I have to go back to the anim controller to touch it up. Okay, so this should be about everything that you need to do. Okay, so I'll go ahead and reset the instance. Yep, it works. There we go. He's running and then he jumps. Then he lands and walks again or runs again. Okay, so that's your basic setup. I have to fine tune it. What we want to do is try and fix it using whatever means possible. So let's try and make this linear. And see. Two. Okay. So now I might want to add another key. Okay. I'm just kind of fudging it a little bit to force it to be fixed. Okay. All right. So this portion is correct. Let's go do widescreen and then we can begin animating. All right. So let's see. There's that. Um, I'm just going to have them move in a straight linear line. So okay, that almost works. There's a little bit of sliding. It's not too bad. I think it's good enough for now. You have to basically tune your animations with this to match the ground. Change the speed or, whatever you need to do to make it look natural. And it kind of looks natural already. Okay, so there we go. And now we want to hop up a little. So we'll just go ahead and keyframe this key. And then say keyframe this. And now let us move this. Actually, let's, okay. All right, he's kind of flying, but this is a character in um, from a game, and so the luxury of pushing off with the feet to do a good jump kind of can't kind of have that in a game that was made in 48 hours. So it's not going to be perfect as an example, but this is just an example. So yeah, um, there we go. And now we want the Y position to be fixed. Okay. And let's try and make it more rounded. Okay, let's see what that looks like. It's not too bad. All right. There's a few things that could be, adjusted, but it should be okay. And there we go. That's basically how you can do swap controllers. Um, I'll go ahead and render it, and you can see basically what it looks like rendered without this fuzzy stuff, which is just how the animation was done for the texture. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it. There we go. It's just that simple. And that is it. If you have any questions about how to use this controller script, then by all means, make a post in the forum, and I will try to answer as best as I can.